afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. This is our word focus for this week. And we just heard a powerful message from Pastor Giselle in whether you watch the morning services or the afternoon services. And the word is centered around having a good testimony. We have declared it. All of us know that testimony is our watchword for this year. And we are halfway through 2023. The question is, how are you with your testimony? What has God been doing in your life? Has He answered any of your prayers? Or are you listening to this and you're still believing for something? So I'm just gonna reiterate a few things that is important in understanding our testimony. First and foremost, why do we need a good testimony? What's so important with me believing for something? I gave the example when I shared in the 3 p.m. that as I was looking for a parking spot just a few days ago, when I found the parking spot, I was with my daughter, and while I was backing down, she suddenly said, "Thank God for parking." And that's not something that I told her to say. It's not something that I instructed her to do, but it was something that she hears from us because we usually say that when we're in a crowded mall where there's no parking. But it made me realize that, of course, I was glad when I heard it, but it made me also realize, what is she hearing from us? What else is she hearing from us? Because it's good if she's gonna repeat something that is godly, but I'm sure there are things that she would hear while we're at home, while we're with her, that may not be godly. It's the same with our testimony, because whether we like it or not, there are people around us. Our family, of course, your children, if you have, your immediate family, your workmates, your friends. These people, they might not necessarily hear everything that you're saying, but they surely are watching and they see what we are doing. And that goes back to what Pastor Giselle has communicated even from the first month, that it's all about having a testimony, God doing something in our lives, and also being a testimony, meaning God doing something through us. That's how important a testimony is. And we believe that at this point in our life, God is doing something. Sometimes we're just too busy, or sometimes we're waiting for the big thing, but then God is giving us small victories. Let's not belittle those things. So I believe that as you are watching this right now, you have a testimony. It's just a matter of recognizing it and seeing it. And one important thing we have to realize is that a testimony is rooted in faith. Everything that we're doing is by faith. I'm gonna read to you Hebrews 11 verse 1 to 2, wherein it says there, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for. It is the evidence of things not seen." Verse 2, for by it the elders obtained a good testimony. It is all by faith. Everything that pertains to our Christian life, it's all by faith. We can have a good testimony when we step out in faith, when we see through eyes of faith. Because that's how God reveals to us things that He has designed for us. by believing in Him. I'm going to share to you three things that uh, we call it elements to a good testimony. So, what comprises our testimonies? Number one, it's all about Jesus. It's all about Jesus. We cannot add to the promise, and we cannot subtract to the promise. But everything is found in Jesus, is completed in Jesus, even in the middle. It's all by His strength. There are a lot of times as I'm believing for something, I'm praying, I'm believing, but then I figure it out. God, maybe you're gonna bless me through this, or maybe God, you're gonna do this. What am I doing? I'm already figuring things out in my head, and then when something's not happening, I become disappointed. Why? Because it's not happening according to how I figured it out or how I envisioned it. No, it's all about Jesus. Having a good testimony is all about Jesus. It starts with Him, it ends with Him, and it's also Him in the middle. That's point number one. Secondly, second element of a good testimony is it's a response. We respond to God by faith. Everything that we're doing is a response to God. He calls us forward. It's not, I'm not initiating anything with God. Everything I'm doing is a response to what He has done already. God has sent His only Son, Jesus, at the cross. Jesus died for you and I. Everything that we're doing is a response to that. So I cannot, give glory for myself. A good testimony is a response to Him by faith. And lastly, or final element of having a good testimony is we share it. We share it. Why? Because there's a generation that needs to hear it. The moment we don't share what God is doing, or the moment we don't believe for something, then the miraculous won't have a place. It won't have space. God won't have space to move because, we're not believing already. And if the next generation doesn't see us having faith or believing or stepping out, then how are they going to believe? How are they going to respond to problems that they will face? How are they going to navigate this walk? We have to share our testimony. It's meant to be heard by someone. So as you're, processing this with your life groups, share your testimony. Share what God is doing in your life. And all of us, by the end of this year, I believe we're going to have a list of testimonies. So you have a good time, chew on the word, and God is always with us. Thank you, everyone.